we're looking at here is a physical analog environment based on a business process that's being used in construction, which is called Last Planner. In the UK, we're hearing collaborative planning as the language that the industry is using to describe this particular environment. And we're looking at walls being used with whiteboards on them, covered in post-it notes, sticky notes, bits of tape that have been stuck on the wall. There's a degree of familiarity to all of this. There's a degree of simplicity to all of this to get people to use these environments, and therefore they have never been replaced with technology. And that's the challenge, because what we're actually looking to do is to take all of the key learnings from why people are still operating in this way. Why is it that people are still doing this?
Nyali applications are designed for people to work together, ideally in a face-to-face environment where they're able to make commitments to one another and basically promise-making and conversations to solve challenges associated with building.
The need for a really fantastic visual experience and get anybody with almost minimal training to have a walk up and use experience. That's the first area where Nyali win.
In order to digitize all of that, you need to have the right hardware experience. Where it becomes even more interesting is when you start to bring in the principle of hybrid working since COVID, and the need to be able to support working from anywhere, remote experts being dialed into the project room. So we're also then looking at how you can ensure that the experiences for those remote participants allow them to essentially have the best possible experience when they're connecting into those project rooms, which are often very large and challenging environments from an audio and camera perspective. This is a journey that I've been on for many, many years now. It actually started all the way back in the late 90s when I was involved with a product called the Smartboard. The phrase digital transformation has been bandied around for decades now, and yet here we are still at an event talking to people about the fact that they're using whiteboards, post-it notes, bits of card to run their collaborative planning processes.
From 1997 all the way through to where we are now, it's been quite a journey. From Smart, there was another company that was created after Smart IPO'd, which is called Nareva. And at Ascentae, we work with Nareva as well. And that has now translated into Nyali. Nyali has 3 different software applications. Nyali Visual Planner is the main one. Then you also have Design Planner, and finally an application called Workspace. And at Ascentae, we've worked on all of this journey along the way. These are some photos from the first project that we got involved in 2018. The business reason that they were looking at was actually different to collaboration, for example. It was the fact they ran out of physical wall space. So they have an environment where each trade on the project was given a physical whiteboard, and that whiteboard, they ran out of wall space for the 29th one to be mounted on the wall. So this is the environment that we translated that room into. This is the same room, but now using multiple screens, in this case projectors, because it was from 2018. And these are some of the key learnings that we started with. The need for multiple screens, the need for digital wallpaper. Think of that concept, digital wallpaper. You know, we are talking about a room where you can have flexible visual data. You can move this data around. You can swoosh the data around the room. And you can have multiple users interacting at each screen at the same time. We are not talking about a command and control, stand and present environment. We're talking about something that's highly visual and highly collaborative.
At Ascentae, we've spent a long time building a unique solution that delivers fantastic whole room audio pickup, automated multi-camera tracking and switching, combined with immersive visual collaboration in the room and awesome collaborative software that is specific to the collaborative planning that we know a lot of people are doing within their project rooms.
proven out that the ability to get together, stand shoulder to shoulder in a room and have a conversation is critical in terms of coordinating projects and getting projects in on time.
Nyali are focused on what we would classify as the messy front end, the 4 to 6 week collaborative planning process, and trying to create the best possible experience for the users in that environment, both physical and software. If you do not have enough screens to replicate what I would call digital wallpaper, you are going to see low levels of adoption on site.
A unique aspect of Nyali Visual Planner is that when it's combined with an interactive touch display, it allows for multiple people to work together and plan together. So in this case, I could be working with another trade partner and we'll be sorting out our task sequences while another group or team, where it makes sense, work together on the sequence of their work. Because we're a cloud-based solution, people actually can interact from their mobile devices and add tags into the sequence and be part of the conversation. So let me talk a little bit about the interface and how it's designed to help teams. You can see we've taken advantage of a touch display to enable people to actually have a relationship with their activity tags, and that's really important. The interesting thing about digital, you can imagine having 15 paper sticky notes and needing to move them because something didn't get done or there was a weather delay. In this case, you can move a whole group with a simple double touch gesture, so you start to get the advantage of digital. The other aspect is we can easily move between areas in, let's say, a weekly meeting. We can move further out in the week and start to look at impacts of even the past week. We use gestures where the trade says, yes, I got something done, and then the project manager will confirm that. And this starts to generate data that we'll look at when we talk about reporting. So let's talk about how we status the activities in terms of whether they got done or not done the past week. I come into the trailer and I mark it as done, and I got this task done. The superintendent or project manager confirms that it's done and it's closed, and this will then actually show up in reports. If an activity doesn't get completed, basically we mark it the other way and we look at the reasons for variance, and there's a few different reasons that are quite common. In this case, we'll choose material constraint, and these are consistent across the plans in an organization and can be set so that there's a consistent actual monitoring of the database of how teams are performing. Another benefit of digital sticky notes is you actually can create relationships between activities, which means I can commit to getting this task done, but only if this gets done beforehand, and that's called a dependency. So when we look at a task, we actually see that there's a responsibility here to get this work done. And what is interesting is you can actually create alerts, which you can't do with paper, that says, if this goes late, I get an alert that this can't get done because that dependency or logic tie was created.
Today I've had a little bit of a meeting with Nyali. They've got a really great solution around Last Planner. The tool works magnificently. When we look at ISO 19650, they've got a solution that they're building around that, which is absolutely fantastic.
Let's talk about the structure now of Nyali Visual Planner and how it matches the Last Planner system of planning. What we're looking at here is starting to build a phase pull plan, and we've imported milestones from a master schedule such as P6 or Power Project or other planning scheduling softwares. We've also brought in some activities from those plans, which we can then take advantage of that work that's been done and pull those now into our phase pull plan. We'll bring this activity in, and at the moment it's really just a trade category. So what we do is that trade, be they electrical, we'll go in and say, yes, that is now my tag and I'm committing to it. And let's see, we can compare and say, I think I can do that in less time now that I know more about the project, and adjust the crew size. And we now have an activity that can be pulled from the milestone, which was actually pulled down from the master. So now we're attaching the actual plan of building, which is, this is what we should do in the last planner system, and starting to pull that process into our plan.
So now I'm logged in to two different software applications. On the left-hand side, I'm looking at the live status of the project. Even though I'm not actually in the project office, I'm able to still see the live status of all of the cards, all the different swim lanes within the software, check how we're performing against milestones visually. But on the right-hand side, I'm actually looking at the data that we're collecting in Power BI. Now, this data is extremely valuable for many different reasons. Firstly, we can be looking at this on a single project or a single plan perspective, but we can also actually amalgamate data from multiple projects. That could either be lots of plans on one project if it's a complex project, or it could be regionalizing your data across multiple projects to understand how a region is performing. On the right-hand side here, we're looking currently at the PPC by trade report, but there's a wide range of different sources of data that are available to us to enable us to go in and start to look at our reasons for variance, our actual crew or actual completion versus planned, the performance of how we're tracking against our master milestones. All of this is available to be analysed and amalgamated in order to take those key learnings to ensure that your project is performing to the highest possible standard, or to identify the projects that might be struggling for performance. And that could be for a number of different reasons, either the project overall, the individual subcontractors or trades within the project, or specific disciplines. You're able to go in and drill into the data to analyse all of those trends.
There is a divide in the industry between those who are tech savvy and those who are not. And our goal is to try to close that gap and push towards 100% adoption of software applications like collaborative planning in order to deliver the most accurate data back into the businesses.
One of the terms that you'll probably hear is lean construction, which is about minimizing waste and adding value. And some of those words are a little bit foreign. It's actually really more about how do we do things better, faster, safer, and also how do you enable your team members to get their ideas into the project. Because the subs and trades are super skilled and tactile, and they really know what's going on the job site. So how do you harness that thinking, and how do you develop a lean culture which has respect for people and allows people to contribute? Through what we call APIs, we'll be able to actually mash things and mesh things where they make sense and have value, make things safer, make things quicker, more efficient, more accurate, more reliable.
First thing that people often ask me is, how much does that cost? Well, it doesn't necessarily matter unless you can quantify the return on investment that you're going to get from that technology. Any construction project that overruns is costing the contractor a minimum of tens of thousands of pounds per week. So if technology can support you in delivering your projects on time, then that's got to be worth a high level of investment. My advice is always to start by focusing on a proof of concept. My definition of a proof of concept, though, doesn't necessarily mean you just test stuff for free. It means identifying a project where you're going to see real value and have an opportunity to test new screens, new cameras, new microphones, new software, put some professional services into it, and identify what the outcomes are that you want to try to track. So if you'd like to learn more, my first bit of advice would be come and speak to Ascentae and visit one of our experience centers where we can actually go into this in more detail and show you exactly what we're talking about.